Chris, if you're planning a holiday vacation this year, getting off the ground out of Idaho Falls is going to cost you a pretty penny.
In our last hour, we told you why prices are so high and what's being done to bring them down.
Local News 8's Chris Oswald is digging deeper and taking a look at the impact the airport has on our local businesses. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Allison and Dan. I did talk to the Idaho Falls economic director earlier this week. She tells me that the Idaho Falls Regional Airport is vital to our local economy. She says that it brings in $100 million in revenue to the city each year and employs 1,300 people. A trip out of Idaho Falls can be a costly adventure. That's no secret. Even the airport admits it.
We're very aware of the price differentials in airfares between our main competitors, Salt Lake City and Pocatello airports.
So what kind of cost are we talking? Choose to land in Seattle between November 7th and November 11th for a quick trip. You'll pay $526 to fly out of Idaho Falls, but drive south and you'll end up paying half, between $250 and $300 for the same flight. Out of Pocatello, it'll cost you roughly $460. All of these flights on Delta or United. But despite the costs, flights out of Idaho Falls are about 95% full. All of that money spent on flights is helping boost the Idaho Falls economy. Dana Briggs is the city's economic director. She says 70% of the people traveling in and out of town are business people.
We have very strong demand in our city and in our region, and so the airfares are based on that.
That demand is used by airlines to keep the prices sky high. Those prices now a topic of conversation between the city and potential businesses looking to put down roots in Idaho Falls. Briggs says airline costs usually aren't much of a factor.
There are a lot of other factors that contribute to whether a business locates in Idaho Falls. Things like our utility rates, the general overall cost of living, amenities, things that we offer in that regard, the speed of licensing and permitting, things like that.
Briggs actually credits the airport for businesses moving to town, but admits that in some cases the lack of routes, not cost, does become a factor. That's where the city gets creative and finds a solution.
But a lot of times it's just discussing where their other locations are, where their other company locations are, what areas of the country they're traveling to, and a lot of times IDA can get them there. It may not be the direct route.
The airport and Briggs are working to not only bring in businesses, but to bring down airline costs.
The main goal for us is to stay competitive, is to bring in the competition, to bring in another airline, specifically a low-fare carrier such as Alaska, that will compete with Delta and United on existing routes.
For the last 18 months, the airport and Alaska Airlines have been in talks to bring a new direct flight to Seattle. Davis hopes that by doing that, United and Delta will be forced to lower their fares.
You see examples of other regional airports. They bring in Alaska or a similar competing airline, the airfares drop across the board. I think that's really our only option at this point is to bring airfares down, is to bring the competition in.
Eventually, Davis hopes that those lower fares will result in an even bigger passenger load, and he's already started planning, looking to making IDA bigger and better. Both Davis and Briggs have told me that they hope to have Alaska Airlines flying in and out of Idaho Falls sometime next year. That will likely be in the first or second quarter of the year. We're told that it would be 3 times a week and it would be a direct flight to Seattle. Right now, the airport and city leaders are working with local businesses to put a revenue guarantee package together to present to Alaska Airlines. Alaska's told the city that that route to Seattle would cost the airline about $5.9 million per year. Reporting at the Idaho Falls Regional Airport, I'm Chris Oswald.
All right, thanks so much, Chris. And as part of the airport's growth, the director is working with his team to develop a 15-year plan that would include changes to the runways, the terminal, and even adding some more staff. So if you'd like to see all of Chris's reports, they are on our website, Local News 8.